Hello and welcome to the Fighting Spirit Podcast. As always, I'm Jason and I'm here to bring you the fight picks for UFC 248 taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, the fight capital of the world, where Israel Adesanya will be taking on the human brick wall himself, Yoel Romero. This is going to be a phenomenal contest. We also have the ladies strawweight title up for grabs, where Weili Zhang will be taking on Joanna Jędrzejczyk. It's going to be a phenomenal night. There's some other amazing fights on here too. The return of OMalley, the U.S. debut of Mark Madsen. Let's get into it, and here's the show. Alright, so we got to start by getting into our main event. This is the reason we're all going to be watching, and it's going to see if Israel Adesanya has the skills to pay the bills, to maintain that undefeated record against a guy that's as tough, as amazing as Yoel Romero. This is going to be the hardest test outside of kickboxing. I can't speak to that side of his career, but in the UFC, this is going to be the toughest contest to date for Israel Adesanya, and it's another great opportunity for Romero. But I see this one going down for the Nigerian Lion, Israel Adesanya. I think that with his long reach, with his very technical kickboxing skills, and his takedown defense, he's going to be able to shut Yoel down. Now, let's just go through a couple of things with Yoel. First off, the guy is tough as hell. I called him the human brick wall at the start of this thing because he eats shots like a goddamn brick wall. You cannot knock this guy out. That may pose a problem for Adesanya. He has been able to hurt everyone that he's fought in the past. Gaslam, obviously the knockout of Whittaker. Can he do that to Romero? When Paulo Costa couldn't. Paulo Costa put it on him and could not take Romero's head off. Is Adesanya going to be able to catch Yoel with a counter, with something where he's exerting his own energy, putting that extra effort into the shot, and allowing Adesanya to pick up a win? Also, is Adesanya going to be there if this becomes a takedown affair for Romero? He's an Olympic caliber wrestler. We've seen him put it on guys like Weidman. We've seen him take on submission experts like Drakkar. I don't know if this thing goes to the mat, if Izzy is going to stand a chance. Yoel is very good at the ground and pound. He's very good with his explosive shots. It's all going to come down to, can Israel Adesanya stay light, use his 7-inch reach advantage, and keep peppering Romero? He has to take him out in a volume affair, and he could not get hurt because Yoel has a killer instinct. His fight IQ is through the roof, and he will burn Adesanya if he is not rangy enough, if he is not quick enough, and if he is not ahead of the game of Yoel. This is going to be a very, very interesting contest, and if Izzy pulls it off, he is going to be lined up, I think, for Jon Jones sometime soon, because he's proving that he can be the best at 185 pounds. They got that, whole beef they got going on up above, but let's keep it in the here and now. And I honestly believe that Izzy is going to be able to get it done. It's just going to be an edge of your seat kind of night. Anything could happen. I just think that Izzy has the slightly better skill set. And there's also the question about Yoel making weight, which, can Yoel even be eligible to win the championship? We saw what happened with him in Whittaker, and, where he didn't make weight. If he does it here, I think he has a good opportunity to finally become a champion. But I like Izzy just a little bit more, like I was saying. He is my pick in the main event. All right, we got to move on to the co-main because the ladies strawweight title is on the line, where Joanna Jędrzejczyk is taking on Weili Zhang. And in this one, you guys know I'm a big fan of Joanna. I think she's one of the hottest women in MMA. I think she's one of the most dangerous women in MMA. However, I think that she's going to lose to Zhang in this one. We've seen Joanna derailed recently. She used to be queen of the hill, we could say, but lost to Namajunas and lost to Shevchenko when she went up to 125 pounds. And the problem is, I think this is going to play out a little like that Shevchenko affair. Joanna, she might be big for 115, but so is Zhang. Zhang is also very big for this weight class, and she hits really hard. Ask Andrade how hard she hits. She's 20-1. She's been getting it done, 10 KOs, 7 submissions, whereas we know Joanna, not really a knockout artist, not really a submission artist. She's definitely a decision fighter, 11 decisions over 16 wins, just 1 submission and 4 KOs. I think that Zhang is going to be able to put it on her here, but with her power and with her speed. Joanna still has very, very good technical kickboxing. We saw this in her last outing against Michelle Waterson, but it had to go the whole 5 rounds, and I don't think Zhang is going to let it go 5 rounds. She only has 3 decisions over her 21 fights, and only 1 loss. Granted, that did come via decision, but guess when that was? 2013. That was her first ever outing in MMA for a professional. She is just the much better fighter here. Her output is higher, her accuracy a little bit higher. She has some takedown game. Granted, Jacek has a good takedown defense, good scramble game, but I could see Zhang keeping her down because of that size. She might be able to do what Andrade couldn't really against Jacek. And I think, honestly, Zhang picks up a great win here and makes a statement at ladies strawweight, taking out who used to be Queen of the Hill. We've also seen Joanna make a lot of excuses lately, for their losses to Yamaune. She said she's going through a lot of personal stuff. She had a hard weight cut. I don't know where she's going to be mentally for this one, assuming her life is in order and her excuses were correct. Hey, who knows? Maybe she ends up getting a win here and things were off for her a couple of years ago, back when she lost her belt in 2017 and then the rematch in 2018. But the numbers, going with them, that has Zhang. We're going with Weili Zhang to retain her 115-pound strap in Las Vegas. All right, in our next contest taking place at men's lightweight, we are going to have Beneil Dariush taking on Drakkar Klose in what should be a very interesting matchup. So both these guys, top-tier gyms, King's MMA for Beneil, MMA Lab for Drakkar Klose. I like King's a little bit better. We've also seen Dariush find his mojo back as well. 3 wins in a row. He hasn't lost since 2018 when things were looking a little bit iffy for him, but he's been closing the door. Armbar against Drew Dober, rear naked choke against Frank Camacho, and we've seen Drakkar Klose also at fighting at a very high level too, but he's just picking up decisions against kind of mid-tier, lower-tier talent. I think Dariush is a guy that can fight the best, and I think Drakkar hasn't quite proved that yet, and so I'm ultimately going with Drakkar Klose here. I think that he's a little bit better. They are nearly even, though, when it comes to their takedowns and their strikes landed, and even their accuracy. These are very, very tight fighters, but I think Dariush has proved it against some higher tier talent. He beat guys like James Vick way back when. He has fought good talent in Michael Johnson and picked up wins. He has also lost to Edson Barboza and the like, but I think he's found himself since those times. I think that he's back. I think that he's going to make a run up the mountain here. I think he's going to put challenges and speed bumps in the way of the guys at the top of 155 pounds, and I just don't think Drakkar Klose is going to be the kind of guy to derail somebody like Beneil Dariush, who seems so dialed in right now. He seems like he really knows what he wants. He seems like he knows how to win. His fight IQ is getting higher in his last 3 affairs. He's shutting the door very early. I like Drakkar Klose here. He's the pick. All right, and the next one here at men's welterweight, we have Neil Magny taking on Zhilliang Li. The Leech, the Chinese fighter. I apologize for my pronunciation of that name. But in this one, we don't have to worry about it too much because I think there's only going to be one Chinese victory, and it's going to be at strawweight in the co-main. We are not going to have to worry about Zhang Liang in this one. Neil Magny is going to get it done all day. He has such a superior reach advantage, and I think superior striking skills to Lee. Granted, Lee does have great output, but I like the technical ability of Magny because he has a bigger threat of takedowns and I think ground game. So I think that he's going to be able to set up his shots off of attempted takedown attempts and getting those hands to drop to stuff the takedown, which is going to leave a door open and open up the avenues to victory for Magny. Now, Lee is explosive. He's got some speed to him, but I like the lankiness for him at this weight class. I think his reach of 80 inches is just crazy when you think about it. Granted, he has lost to guys like Ponzinibbio in his last outing, but he has also beaten great guys in the past, like Johnny Hendricks, Carlos Condon. He's beaten really the best in the biz for a time, and I think his loss to Ponzinibbio was just kind of a fluke. I think he's going to get back on the track here, pick up a W in Vegas. He's the pick in this welterweight matchup. All right, in the next outing, we are going to have Alex Cowboy Oliveira, always a fun fighter, taking on Max the Pain Griffin. And in this one, I am going to go with Oliveira, but bear in mind, he is on a slide. He lost to Nicholas Dalby, he lost to Mike Perry, and he lost to Gunnar Nelson. He hasn't had a win since late 2018. Looking over at Max Griffin, though, he's in a similar boat. He has 3 losses over his last 4 fights, and I think that running into a hungry fighter like Oliveira, who always pushes the violence, pushes the pace, has an amazing ground game, has amazing hands, a guy that is willing to bleed and die in there, I think that he's going to have a problem with him because of his will to win. Alex Oliveira isn't 19-8 for nothing. He hasn't been in the game this long for nothing. He hasn't beaten amazing competitors like Carlos Condit in the past for nothing. He's a guy that can put it on. He's a fan favorite. He's the cowboy from Brazil. I'm going with Alex Cowboy Oliveira to pick up a win in this contest. All right, off of his USADA break, we'll call it, we're going to have Sugar Shot OMalley taking on Jose Alberto Quinones in an amazing bantamweight matchup. So in this one, I'm going to go with OMalley. He's undefeated. He looked like such a hot product coming into the UFC with his Ultimate Fighter win, where he won the Ultimate Fighter back in 2017. He beat Andre Sukumtad, and then USADA kind of just, I don't know what happened with this guy, but he went away for a little while. 2 years on, he's back. He's a little bit older. I'm assuming he's been training, keeping himself ready, prepared, and I think that he's going to be able to beat Quinones. Quinones is a decent fighter. He's coming off a win himself, but I don't think the hype is as high for him. I don't think I've seen as much talent out of him in his UFC outing so far. Granted, he came into the UFC very hot. He's picked up 4 wins in a row. Then he kind of got derailed. But I think Sean O'Malley is a guy that, we all believe in. We can see him being the future of the bantamweight division. He's so big for this weight class, 5'11". He's only 25 years of age. I'm hoping he can continue to cut weight. I'm hoping he can look like the bigger, stronger, more competitive guy against Quinones. And we've seen him with that fight IQ. So fluid, so creative in there. He's throwing all kinds of different moves, different looks. His ground game is a little bit there. His striking is all the way there. I think that he's a guy that can go on, put it on Quinones, and make it the Sugar Show in Las Vegas. All right, in the next one here, we have a welterweight showdown against a silver Olympic medalist in Marco Madsen taking on Austin Hubbard. And in this one, we only saw Marco Madsen fight once against Danilo Bellardo. I thought Bellardo was actually going to win. I didn't do all my homework on Madsen because he was debuter at that point. That's my apologies. However, in this one, I gotta say Madsen's going to win. He looked so freaking amazing. Bellardo, being a striker, really had no answers for him. And Hubbard, I haven't seen any kind of amazing ground game out of him, any kind of amazing takedown defense that makes me believe that Madsen's not going to put him on him like crazy and pick up some fight of the night money. I think he's probably pretty heavily favored going into this. I'd say this is the lock of the entire card. Marco Madsen, short of catching a wild haymaker to the jaw, is going to win this contest. No doubt about it. He's going to remain undefeated. He's going to put a show on in Vegas, and he's going to make a statement for himself. Marco Madsen's the pick. Easy in that one. All right, in the next contest here, I have one metric picking Rodolfo Vieira, but every other one is picking Sarbek Safarov. I think that's how we state that one. And as much as I want to go with Rodolfo because he looks so amazing coming to the UFC, I think that Safarov might pose a little bit of a problem for him. He's a very talented Dagestani Russian fighter, and I think that he's going to have answers for Rodolfo in the ground game that Rodolfo doesn't necessarily have responses to or solutions to. And I think it's all going to come down to the ability for Rodolfo to get takedowns. The Dagestani wrestlers are so good at getting takedowns, preventing takedowns. When you go into their world, you got to have some really high-level solutions to the problems that you're going to face against them. And Rodolfo, I think, is going to have the typical Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu problems. He's going to be amazing if it gets to the ground, but good luck getting there against a guy in Safarov. He's going to stuff Rodolfo all day, and I don't think Rodolfo is going to be able to put it on him, especially when he has a 5-inch reach clinch disadvantage, and the striking of Safarov has seemed so good coming in. 6 KOs over his 9 wins. Just looking really talented in his last outing. Granted, he did lose before that, John Vellante and Tyson Pedro, but I think he's learned from those experiences. He's come back a year since his last loss, 2 years since his last loss, and I think that his confidence is there. I think he's going to be able to prevent Vieira from getting it to the ground and putting it into his court. I am going with Safarov in this contest. In the next one here, we're going to have Gerald GM3 Meerschaert take on Deron Winn. So both talented gyms in this one. Rufus Sport for Meerschaert, a.k.a. American Kickboxing for Deron Winn. Really talented stuff out of both these guys. It's just the only thing is I believe Meerschaert's going to get it done. His submission game is so efficient, so proficient. I think that he can lock up a choke, a sub from anywhere, and I think it's going to pose a problem for Deron Winn. Deron Winn hasn't looked like the best product. He's kind of a decision machine right now. In his last one, he lost to Darren Stewart, but we know that Meerschaert doesn't throw crazy shots like that. I think that Meerschaert's going to be able to take, the volume of Deron Winn, just kind of popping the jab out there, get it locked up, bring it to the ground, and put his game on Deron Winn. If Deron can't lay a power shot or use good clinch work himself against the cage to keep it his advantage, I do not think he's going to be able to get it done here. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that Meerschaert does have a 7-inch reach advantage, so he's going to be able to keep Winn off of him when he needs to, so I'm not sure how effective Deron Winn's output is going to be when he has such a hard time getting inside, and then when Meerschaert wants to get inside, he's going to grab a hold of that leg, he's going to put it to the ground, and he's going to bring it to his world. I believe that Gerald Meerschaert picks up a win in Las Vegas. All right, this next one's kind of a crapshoot here. We have Emily Wittmeyer, the Spitfire, taking on Polyana Vienna. And so in this one, Wittmeyer's 4-3. Vienna has a better record at 10-4, but she's had such a decline in the UFC since 2018. Lost to JJ Aldridge, lost to Hannah Severs, and lost to Veronica Macedo. When I look over at Wittmeyer, she at least got a couple wins in the UFC. She, did lose Julian Roberts and Amanda Ribas in her last outing, and she has looked pretty decent, but I'm going to go with the record and the numbers here with Vienna. I think that, assuming that she can fight like the product she was coming into the UFC and not how she's been, when she got into the UFC, I think she can defeat Wittmeyer, but I'm not confident about this pick. This is a grain of salt situation. The numbers got Vienna, but my heart, I think, actually has Wittmeyer in this one. Just throwing it out there. Either way, got to go with the numbers. We're picking Vienna. All right, we have 2 contests left. One of them is going to be a debut. This is going to be Jamal Emmers, Pretty Boy, taking on Giga Chikadze. And Giga is actually coming in as a late replacement here. I can't remember who was injured, but he's picking up a late replacement to come in and kind of save this contest. I like Emmers, actually, though, in this one. He's coming in hot into the UFC. He's fought in some great promotions like M1. He got a TKO win there. He's gotten all stoppages coming into the UFC here. He got the triangle choke in LFA. He got 3 TKOs in a row, and I think it looks like a hot product coming in. Giga has also looked good himself, but he's getting it done a little bit differently. He's getting it done with arm bars. He actually had a submission 2 punches, and then he got a split decision with Brandon Davis when he got into the UFC. I think that Jamal is going to be able to put it on Chikadze, and I'm not sure how this late replacement is going to work. Also, experience, Emmers actually has about twice the fights, even though this is his first time coming into the UFC. I think he's a guy that hasn't been noticed. Now that he is, he's going to make a statement, and he's going to pick up a win in his debut. I am picking Jamal Emmers in this contest. And then in the last one here, we're going to have Guido Canetti take on Dana Betchgrell. Guido is 40 years old, so he's been he's been an MMA fighter for a while, but he's only 8-4, so he's definitely a guy coming into it late in the game. And Dana is debuting. No, sorry, he's not debuting. He's had one fight where he lost to Eli Alatang, but I think he's going to actually get a win here. This is serious grain of salt situation. I think that Dana is going to be able to pick up a win here. The numbers just shake out for the Mongolian fighter in this one, and so he is the pick. All right, so let's go over them one more time. We have Adesanya, Zhang, Darish, Magny, Oliveira, OMalley, Madsen, Safarov, Meerschaert, Vienna, Batgarel, so Dana, who I just mentioned, and then Jamal Emmers to round things out as the debuter. So I am really looking forward to this card. I think it's an amazing one. It's definitely going to be worthy of a pay-per-view for sure, having those 2 title fights, and I think we're in for a really, really fun night. So, as always, I'll be back with that retrospective. Those Patreon fight picks will be coming soon. Also, please get in touch with the show. You know all the avenues to reach out. There's the description down below. You can get in touch with the show there. You can also find the Patreon there as well if you would like to support the show. Share, tell your friends, like, subscribe. You know all that fun stuff by now. I really do appreciate it. So, I will speak to you again, like I said, on the retrospective. And until then, happy fight picking.